Welcome back, Arcadians. Alex here with another video, and I'm back in the Nintendo arcade. And there's not a single Nintendo cabinet to be seen. They're all at the museum, all waiting for you to play them, which is does feel a bit strange. But I'm going to have to come up with a different name for this arcade, because obviously now it's not really a Nintendo arcade. Although I still have a lot of my Super Nintendo collection and my NES collection, my ever-growing Switch collection. I still love Nintendo, but I think I'll have to change the name of this arcade to something else. Maybe a name that we were actually thinking about for Arcade Archive, the museum, which was the Vault. So I might call this the Arcade Archive Vault, because this is where a lot of the machines are actually going to be rotated. So I've got more machines coming for in here. So a lot of you have been asking, your arcade, isn't it going to be empty? Well, no, it'll never be empty. What I want to do is get some games in here. Obviously the keepers, like my Defender, my Robotron, and my Electrocoin midis are staying because they're the games I play the most. But I'm hoping to get other games in here that I can rotate with the museum when we don't have enough room there. So this will always be full. And I'll always have videos to make from this vault. So don't worry about that. I'm still go back to some of the console games as well. But for this video, I've got something really special to show you. It is the Sega Gunfight from 1969, an incredible machine that I picked up from a fellow collector and friend, Tony, who's had it for 4 years in his ownership. And he wanted it to go to the museum. And I really do appreciate, Tony, for you reaching out to me and asking me whether I wanted it. And I just thought, got to have it. Just got to have it, because it tells a story from sort of electrical mechanical to video games, because Taito took the idea from Sega, from this electrical mechanical game, and turned it into the first Western video game, really, which was Taito's Western Gun, which later came to release in America as Midway's Gunfight. It's essentially the same game, although the graphics are altered. And obviously there's a microprocessor in Gunfight, the first game to have a microprocessor. So from an historical standpoint, this game, this electrical mechanical game, is an inspiration for the video game designers. And I think that's what a lot of designers took back in the day. They took a lot of ideas from electrical mechanical games. So I'm starting the museum with this game because I think it tells a story. So today me and Richard are going to dissect it, open it up and see if it's complete, because I don't know what's inside. All the locks, we've got no keys for the locks. So we're going to have to bust at least one of them open to get inside and see what's missing, or hopefully nothing's missing and we just need to repair and get it going. That's the idea of today's video. So, but before we get into that, I've got to say a huge thank you to the community, who've been absolutely amazing. All the support from you guys has been amazing. All my patrons, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to help, the Patreon's there if you want to. If not, just come down to the museum. But I've got to say a huge thank you to Ollie Alpha One for loaning us this incredible machine, Atari's Pong, and it's immaculate, absolutely immaculate. It looks like it's just come off the factory floor. And he's loaned us a Dislotron as well. Two incredible games to have at the museum. Adrian Purser for loaning us the Sea Wolf and the Gauntlet 2. Harry Bolt for loaning us, and I'm going to forget, because of so many machines coming into the museum. I've been up and down the country picking up machines. I've literally been from Southampton to Scotland, Fife in Scotland, to Manchester, to Leeds, all over the place. Thousands of miles I've put on the clock. That poor old van has carried some machines over the last 2 months, I can tell you. But it's all been worthwhile, and hopefully that's pretty much the end of it now. But Harry Bolt has loaned us Burger Time and Ghosts and Goblins, and he has offered us loan us a couple more as well. And also Nad, aka Equities, has loaned us a Berserk, and he said he'd loan us a Millipede as well. So guys, thank you so much. And all the guys that have loaned PCBs, OG Gamer loaned us a load, or gave us some PCBs, which was amazing. And there's a few others as well. I've just got to say thank you so much for your support. I just want you guys to come down and enjoy this space and experience. I'm going to try, as I've said before, try and make it an experience where you actually walk away and you've learnt something as well as enjoying the games, because they've all got such history and so many stories to tell. It'd be a crying shame not to tell that for you guys to take home with you. Without further ado, guys, I'm going to, in this video, in this episode, I'm going to give you a little tour of the arcade. And it is a little tour, and I will go into more depth with all the games and the museum in its own video. But for this video, it is purely about Gunfight, Sega's Gunfight. But you will see a little appearance from Mark fixing stuff. I've met Mark once before, lovely guy. He's a London geezer, so we get on really well. He's a lovely guy, great channel. If you haven't checked out Mark's channel, Mark fixes stuff, brilliant channel. I'll put a link into this video below, go and check him out. He makes a little appearance at the end of the tour. So check that out, guys. Anyway, without further ado, let's go and check out the museum and this amazing machine, Sega's Gunfight, with my partner Richard, who's an absolute whiz with electronics. Welcome back, Arcadians. We are back in the museum, the Arcade Archive, and I'm really excited to show you the progress in this video. We've done so much since you last saw it. We've got this beautiful Sega Gunfight in the middle of the room, which is our first project. I'm so excited that Richard agreed with me that this is the first game we should start restoring. So later in the video, me and Richard are gonna open up the locks, open up the cabinet and have a look inside and see exactly what we've got to restore, because I don't even know if it's all original inside. I really don't know what to expect from that cabinet. So I'm really excited to look at that with Richard a bit later. And of course we've got Midway's Gunfight, which is the first game that had a microprocessor. We've put that in the alcove, and I'm hoping to get a Pong, an Atari Pong on that side, which will look amazing. And then maybe on that wall there, I'm going to put Sky Skipper. And then I'm going to take you into the arcade, because a lot's changed in here. Richard has built this amazing door. This is incredible. Look at this, guys. He's put UV strips along here. So we've got a UV light. When the lights are off in this main room, that all glows. That is so cool. I came down here this morning, I couldn't believe what he'd done. It just looks amazing. It's got a monitor inside here, so you can see, you can have a track screens going, and you can show high scores or anything like that. It's got Samwa buttons here. Well, I don't know if they're Samwa buttons, but they're pretty cool buttons. Maybe Richard would do something with these, maybe make them the door talk, or maybe it interacts with the screen up here. It's got a joystick on there, 2 speakers, and a lovely coin door that's been given to us by Tony. Thank you, Tony, for that. And then he's put monitors in each corner of the arcade, so hopefully we can have music in here and 80s videos. But at the moment it's running flyers. So you've got Sky Skipper flyer. It's basically got all the games that we've got in the museum, showing all the flyers. There's Tempest. So yeah, and I've had a little rearrange of all the cabs today. So I'm trying to make a timeline. So we're starting off with Seawolf. So this is the Bronze Age section. We've got Blue Shark, that's another restoration project. GB, Space Invaders, Sheriff, Sky Skipper, and look who's at the door. Sorry. Neil, come in guys, you can be in the video as well. Hi guys. I'm just going through all the machines that we've got. So I'm trying to make this timeline. Then we've got Missile Command, my favourite Defender, Williams Defender. This is just a cab I picked up recently, Stern's Berserk, a very early game with synthesized speech, one of my favourites. It's got the Wicco stick. It's missing the back stick, but I think that was a factory conversion to a Wicco. Then we've got the beautiful and amazing Tempest. Q-Bert. It's even got the knocker in there. Gauntlet 2, Star Wars, Ghosts and Goblins, Tapper, another favourite of mine, Robotron. I don't know if you can call it beautiful, but it is a Mooncrest. It's a bootleg of the Mooncrester game by Nishibitsu. I love it. I think it deserves to be in the museum. And then we've got on this side Donkey Kong and Burger Time. Spaced them out nicely so you can see the artwork, and there's a bit of lighting in the middle. Hopefully you can see that when the lighting's off. And then in the middle here we've got the Jammer Cabs. We're hoping to have 90s shmups and 90s brawlers all in the middle here. And then finishing it off with the last games in the timeline that we've got at the moment, which is Operation Wolf and Silkworm. This was a recent pickup. This is a really rare conversion kit for a Williams game. Underneath this horrible black paint there is actually Moon Patrol artwork, which we're going to try and get back. I don't think it'd be too much of a problem to get this black paint off, so we're going to try and do. What do you think, Mark? What do you think? What do you think of all these games in your element in here?
Like a kid in a candy store.
Are you?
It's really lovely.
Is it?
It's nice, and it's got a special vibe when you walk in.
Yeah.
You can feel the love and the curation of this collection is amazing.
Any favourites?
Well, it's always going to be Burger Time for me.
Burger Time, really?
Everybody knows Burger Time.
What, did you play that in the arcade back in the day?
Yeah. I'm not great at it.
No.
I just enjoy it.
So for me, that was Mr. Wimpy on the Sinclair Spectrum. That was the game I remember playing.
They're quite a good version, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So that's it, guys. We're now going to join Richard in the other room and we're going to dissect gunfights. Right, guys, so I'm here with Richard and I'm really pleased that Richard has decided with me that this should be the first project that we look at. And this is going to be a long-term project, Richard, isn't it? It's quite a lot of work involved to get this one going.
It is, yeah. It's going to be a multi-parter at least.
Yeah.
Today we thought we'd just have a little look, see what we've got to work with, and try and get inside the machine to start with.
Yeah, see what we've got. It might be empty inside.
It could be. It could be completely empty. I mean, what do you think's inside here?
Loads of wipers.
Yeah.
Loads of relays.
Yeah, I'm expecting a couple of banks of relays, definitely. Yeah. Probably some neat wiring, because I think unless someone's messed around with it, we should have some reasonably neat wiring. There's obviously going to be a power supply of some description. God knows what, 1969. I don't know. It's going to be something.
So a bit like an underside of a pinball table, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So I guess we've got to try and get into it. Now we think this hinges back if we can get the latches at the front open, but to do that we've got to try and access it from underneath.
So there's a big trap door underneath here, isn't there, which has got a lock on it.
Big trap door with a lock, and we've got a lock at the front. We're going to try and keep the lock at the front if we can. So I guess we've got to
open that from inside.
Open that from inside. So I guess we've got to get under it and see whether we can get that trap door down and see what we find, see if any spiders fall on us.
Yeah, do you want to go first then?
Thanks for that, yeah, okay. Yeah, pretty soft metal. Oh my, that is spectacular.
Yeah. The wires look brand new, like they've just come out of the factory.
All the shielding
on so clean.
All this shielding around here,
Yeah.
all this, it's just plastic shielding, but it's to neaten it all up. That is such a nice job.
Yeah.
That's better than most of the pinballs I've ever seen. Right,
Richard, what do you think?
Okay, so
it's incredible.
This is absolutely wonderful. It was what I was hoping for, that we would find a really neat looking setup. We've got some banks of relays which I was expecting to see, and some of these are pluggable relays, so you can actually unclip them and pull them out, which will be really nice for us cleaning and checking them.
Yeah.
We've got some wiper relay contacts here which are taking a bit more current. That's probably some of the moving mechanisms. Here is an interesting one. We've got a time adjustment. I'm not quite sure how this works, but it's going to be something to do with this wheel to adjust the length of playing time, which is really mechanical but fantastic. Yeah. So that's amazing.
What does that say up there, Richard?
We've got, there's a knob up there, and it actually says medium. This is the hit control, so you've got liberal or conservative, so that's actually your difficulty. You've got two switches that looks like it switches over into two different modes. Yeah.
That is cool. And are these all repairable parts, and can you replace these parts?
We're going to definitely need to replace some of these capacitors, which are just taking the surges. Yeah. The relays, we're probably going to be able to check them out at least, make sure they're working. It's either going to be the coil is shorted out, so they're not the right resistance, or they're going to be open circuit, or they're going to work. So we've got a few options on those. We should be able to get plug-in replacements for these, because they do modern equivalents of this type of thing. If not, we can adapt the bases to fit. Yeah. But really, we need to check every one of the relay mechanisms to make sure they're not shorted out, because that could cause you a real problem if you've got short circuits in your relays.
I'm amazed how neat everything is.
This is done so well. It's done so well. Yeah. I mean, the amount of labour gone into building this. Yeah. You can see this is why PCBs took over, because all of that was on then one PCB rather than having all of this wiring, all this manual work. What fascinates me is that up there.
That's the wiper.
And that's the wiper system. So, but it's all been done with wires rather than a PCB, which again would have been.
So depending on where your cowboy was, if he was on that track at the same time as the cowboy at the opposite end, and you pressed the trigger button before him.
Yeah, we're going to find out, but there's going to be a circuit made between those two, and if you're on the same part of the circuit, it's going to then action against the trigger button, and then that will be another piece. So we'll have to figure all this out, how it's actually all worked. But yeah, there's basically going to be some marry up there.
So you've got the coin box there, the coin mech.
Yeah, we've got the coin mech. We've got a nice looking transformer up here and another one here. So we've actually got two transformers. And this is...
And is this running on 240, would it be?
It looks like it's got, let's just check, I think we've got, oh wow, okay, yeah, so we've got red, green and black, so I would have thought that's, that might actually be a 240 volt transformer up there.
I mean, it's got, on the coin box, 5p a go, so I imagine it's been in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah, and that might explain why we've got two transformers. There's another one up here, but again, we'll just have to double check on that before we get.
Oh, it's in up there, doesn't it? 240 volts and that red sticker.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yes, we've got the 2 amp 240. So that would make sense, because that was the old wiring colour scheme, the black and red. Otherwise, I think in America you've got the white, haven't you? The white and black.
So different colour.
They've got different in the America one. So I think this does make sense that it's 240, which helps us a lot. Yeah. So that's going to be a good thing. We've got, there's a couple of solenoids up there, and they're pinball solenoids, so they are doing something quite big. That's probably either knocking the player down or knocking the cactuses. So we're expecting to see some of the solenoids to do the actual motion. Yeah. All of these relays are just acting the logic circuits, but the actual motion of the cactuses falling and the players falling are going to be.
And what do you reckon this little PCB here is? Would that be sound?
Well, I'm hoping that's the soundboard. It definitely looks like it. Looks like a really old-fashioned soundboard, a little amplifier and a generator circuit. It's probably going to be very, very crude sound, boops and beeps. Yeah. And there's a volume control. Look, there we go. I didn't see that. So yeah, we've got a volume control there.
And speaker on there.
So we'll have to find where the speaker is. It's probably somewhere. It might be up the back here. We haven't found that yet.
Oh, they're here, that side here. Is that it there?
That could be it. Yeah, so we'll dig in there. But I think we were going to try and get the top open now.
Yeah, I think so.
If we can get the catches on. That's great. Yeah, some really nice connectors on here as well. So I think everything's going to be quite modular to be able to disconnect and then test out each bit of the circuit. It's going to take some time though.
Yeah, it's been well made for operators to get access to, hasn't it?
Definitely,
and repair this machine. Yeah. Although we'd have to lay down like we've been doing to get to it. But
yeah, I mean, every one of these leaf contacts are going to be needing a clean. It's like the old pinballs. Yeah, they are not going to work. No, they're going to have oxidization all over them. So they're all going to need a good clean. And we'll have to do that very carefully and very gently. And then check all of these. We've got some capacitors, we've got some big chunky resistors and a few other components, but there's a couple of diodes, but they're very basic components. There's nothing really in here at all. Actually, those fuses look like they're in pretty good condition. I think the one on the end might have gone. The rest of them are okay. So that's 3 amp, 4 amp, quite a bit of current. Oh look, and a safety relay.
Safety relay.
So that might be an interlock, that might be a cutout. We might actually find that somewhere, if you've got this open, it locks it out, so that could be an interlock, yeah. I did find a button underneath when I was looking, so that is one of the, there it is. So that's your on-off. Yeah. But then that might actually trigger the safety interlock if you don't have that.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. I'm just surprised how neat everything is.
These are all on wing nuts, so we've got wing nuts here we can unscrew, which is going to be great. So we can take that whole panel out and test it. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Wow.
To see that. This is so cool. Oh yeah, just need a Phillips. That's it. Right, I'm in. Right, door lock should be open now.
It is.
There you go.
Oh.
I'm inside the machine. Okay, so now we should be able to get that top open. Yeah. Let's just see whether this is Oh, there we go.
Is that it?
That's it, we are in.
Right, so guys, this is the really exciting bit.
This is seriously exciting. We're about to open this lid.
We've got the locks open. Hopefully there's a latch here as well, we can hold it up. But this could be the first time it's been opened in 50 years.
It could be, although there is a little bit of a sign of someone fixing one of the players. Right. So someone's had a go. They haven't succeeded, but they've had a go at fixing it. So we'll see. Yeah, okay.
It's like opening a tomb for the first time.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's quite heavy. That's quite impressive.
Right, here's the little...
Oh yeah, you've got a little stick.
Little stick.
Is there somewhere to... Oh, I see. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, the smell. It's got its own atmosphere.
It has, yeah. Wow. Look at that.
Oh.
That is fantastic.
Look, we've got a bit of the trees actually come off here, look.
Yeah, look, these look like they've been... Oh, wow, they are actually fallen off. Yeah. That's model railway stuff, isn't it? That is. Yeah.
Is that part of the tree as well?
I've wanted to touch the cactuses. Oh, look! Here we go. Look, you can see the little metal linkage that
just on a little
pulls that. So that just flops the cactus down and then pulls it back into place.
Wow.
That's going to be great.
It's got quite a nice little spring on there, hasn't it?
It has, hasn't it? Yeah. I bet that's a real satisfying clunk as it comes down.
Yeah. Now this is the bit that was worrying me because there was a lot of this plastic has cracked and teared with all the use of the game.
Yeah, it's natural. It might be rubber that's actually gone very brittle.
But that's easy.
We should be able to put a neoprene. We can put some neoprene seal around that, and actually all of these screws will lift up on the play bed.
Yeah, so there's access here, isn't there? Again, it's like
we have. I think we can take this section off by these screws. There's a little bit of rust and various things going on here, so it's had a little bit of damp, but nothing too bad.
Nothing too bad.
They're probably all there. So yeah, you're right. We should be able to get these up, and then we can have a little look at how the characters are done. It's going to be very similar to the cactuses, where there'll be. Yeah, there you go. So there's actually a little. Oh, it looks like a string. So it looks like we've got strings holding those. So these are bits of metal. So that is just going to be a clunk, big solenoid.
It reminds me of those little toys you used to push up from the bottom. They used to collapse.
They fall over, yeah. So I think you're going to have... It's going to do exactly that. It's a whole load of strings. So that is just going to flop down and he's going to be dead. Yeah. And then he's going to come back to life.
Yours has got a moustache and mine hasn't. So we have to name these characters, don't we?
Wow. Okay, I think this one looks a bit like Neil.
Take his hat off to reveal his head. Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can't see that anything happening on it over here.
No, it's just, that looks like it's all been hand painted. I mean, that's absolutely great, isn't it?
Although there is a little light here, a little lamp.
Yeah, and we've got this light to fix because I'm sure this is going to be, and that's actually got probably some mains cables coming down the back. So we must make sure.
This will be a fluorescent light, won't it?
Yeah, yeah. We've got a little starter at this end, so...
we can get an LED one in there behind that.
Yeah, we might be able to modify that quite easily because we can change these starters out. Yeah. That'll be a bit more reliable, as long as we make it look similar to the original light tone. So the playfield is actually looking in really good condition. We've got a few bits of flaked paint only on the side here. Yeah. And actually everywhere else looks really good. Hinges are nice. Clean. You've got little metal flaps on here.
Yeah.
And I love the tumbleweed. This is just great, isn't it? It's stuck down, so you can be a bit careful there. Oh, I didn't even see the trough. I didn't even notice that before now, yeah. Okay.
So Richard, I've got a feeling that this table flips over.
Flips up? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what, I'm sure I've seen it somewhere in a video or on a documentation or a restoration somewhere.
Yeah, it certainly looks like these ones, these end goals, end playing fields are going to be separate. So maybe if we get inside here. Oh yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Look at that. Oh, wow. That's going to lift up. But what's going to happen to that saloon? Yeah, I think that might be, maybe the saloon comes off. Or does it all slide out? Oh, wow, look at those. Look. Yeah. Now we can see the wipers.
Now where does that go?
Okay, I think this might just... Yeah, I think what happens is this slides forward.
Yeah.
And sits in there, look, there you go. Now it can hinge back up.
Clever. Ooh. That is clever. Where does that go? Just on the
maybe
wood?
It just sits there like that. There you go.
You can work.
And yeah, so if we disconnect, yeah, because they're into little connections down the bottom that has all of that wiring connected. So you can take that whole playfield section out and give it a good service. So we'll be able to work on the top of this machine, not underneath, which is great. Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, this wiper assembly, this mechanical assembly is definitely going to be the hardest thing to do.
Part.
That's a really
Can you see
big
anything
job.
obvious that needs?
Yeah, there's
fixing?
definitely. The good thing about it is the wiring over on that side is as per original. So what they've done over this side is a real hack job, right? And made a real mess of it.
Oh, good. See,
so yeah,
there's
some loads of tape, mains cable, and some screw terminals. Which is fine. They've obviously had a go. Someone's had a go at fixing that, or even just keeping it running by the looks of things. Yeah. But at least we've got one good side over there that looks like it's from stock original.
And can you see there's little
the metal grooves?
Metal grooves.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that's doing, but it's obviously giving some sort of alignment. Yeah. So we've just realised that we've got a big solenoid on either side of the playfield that drops this bar down and starts the play off. So I think once you put the money in, what will happen is this will drop down like so, and then you'll be able to move your man around.
Character, wow.
So I'll be a bit careful with it, but yeah. So then that starts the play, and then when it's finished, it'll clunk back up and locks it back in. Stop people from messing around with it. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. But that means we've got another two great big solenoids to check out as well. Yeah. But they're doing a big mechanical job of dropping that whole playfield into play. And whereas this one's electrically, yeah. No.
Oh, that's brilliant. So we thought they were broken, and maybe they're not too badly.
No. So actually, what you've got aim and you've got movement. So you've got this one, and then you've got this secondary one, which is the actual aim. That's fantastic.
Wow. Amazing.
This is really promising. So I think the one good thing about this is it looks like it is all very, very made for servicing and
complete.
And complete, yeah.
That's the amazing thing that because you just don't know. It could have been.
It probably ran and ran until something mechanically died. You can just imagine someone coming in and just really smacking these gun assemblies and it breaking, and then someone having a go at fixing it, failed, and then it sat in someone's warehouse or garage for 40 years maybe. But
it's had, what was it, 50,000 plays, did you say?
Yeah, we've got a counter.
It's had a good life, hasn't it?
We've got a counter down here, and that coin mech assembly is original, so that's had 5p coins put in up to the tune of 57,733 plays. So,
and that's more than Sheriff, because Sheriff had 20,000.
Okay, wow.
You know,
that is fantastic.
Donkey Kong had 100,000.
Yeah.
So this has been a pretty popular game. I wonder how many units of these they made.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out.
I would imagine, something like that, possibly. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably not many.
There's a lot of man work involved in building this. I mean,
there's a lot of woodwork here, isn't there?
There's a lot of woodwork, there's a lot of metal, and all of these individual assemblies been very carefully assembled, lined up, and then wired up and tested. So, huge amount of work getting this up and running.
Good workmanship overall as a product.
Absolutely astounded. For 1969, like I say, this is better built than a lot of the pinballs of that time, or even before. So, fantastic to see.
How many plays was it? 57,000?
57,733.
Times 0.055 pence. £2,886.65.
Wow.
Okay, that's fantastic.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So that,
I wonder how much this cost to make. That's another thing.
Yeah, I don't.
I noticed it's got Sega Enterprises Limited, which was the American subsidiary company, not the Japanese one at the time.
Yeah, it's quite a story, isn't it, with the whole Sega.
Because Sega basically was started by an American.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Who distributed a lot of games to a lot of naval bases in the American Army and stuff like that.
And the Enterprises, was that before Service Games?
That was after
Service Games. So Service Games and then Sega Enterprises.
Yeah, and then Sega Corporation, and then it became more of a Japanese company as the years went by. But they were mainly a distributing company.
Yeah, to get started.
All over the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen the Sega Gremlin as well.
Yeah.
They bought a small company to help them get going.
That Namco game is Sega that we've got in there. Namco GB is in the Sega cabinet. So it is incredible, this, guys.
Yeah. It's really great. So
loads more videos to come.
Yeah, there's obviously going to be a lot of work restoring this, and that's probably one thing we should say. We're going to document all of this. We're going to make sure we do schematics where we can, if they don't already exist, or if there's no records of them. Take lots of photographs, and anything we do and clean up, show the before and afters, really to get a good idea of how much work we've put into this, but also if anyone else has got one out there that needs a bit of hand, because there's bound to be more than one out there.
Yeah, any information on any if any of you guys have got one of these machines, and you have any information on your restoration project, it would be nice to hear from you.
Yeah.
Other than that,
we've got a lot of work to do, but at least we know now we can take it apart, and we've got into it, and everything seems to be there. So I don't think there's anything missing at all. It's really just a matter of trying to get it back to its original state, and then slowly getting it working. So I can't wait to see this finally up and running. It's going to be amazing.
Well, Richard, thank you so much.
That's all right.
For having a look at this.
It's been delightful.
Can't wait for the next video.
Okay.
Well, there you go, guys. What did you think? Incredible machine, absolutely amazing. And I've got to say, me and Richard were just running on pure adrenaline when we were looking at that. We didn't even notice that the camera was on us. We were just totally in this machine, have a look at how well it's been built and designed. And I can imagine from Richard's point of view, coming from an electronics background, his whole business, his career has been through electronics and making coin-up machines and fruit machines. It's fascinating for him to see how this early stuff's been put together. And for me, it's nice to learn and learn stuff from Richard. So it was a real joy to do that video. It really was. And I can't wait to do future videos with Richard, especially with this machine. There's so much more to do. We've got to test all the relays, all the switches. We've got to restore parts of the cabinet. And hopefully the end result will be a nice working machine for all you guys to enjoy when you come down. So plenty more videos on Gunfight, which I can't wait for. But I think next week's video, we might do some gameplay. We're going to test out some PCBs in the jammer cabs in the museum and see what games we've got for you to play when you come down. And maybe I'll take some of my PCBs down as well, because we haven't got that many. But with my collection, we've got enough to populate the jammer cabs in the museum. So we'll do some gameplays next week, guys. Get some high scores going, maybe some shmups or beat 'em ups, whatever. That's all coming in next week's video. Guys, thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you on the next one.